So I've actually been seeing a couple of comments talking about why it's kind of like not a big deal that HIO and Steam are banning a bunch of the games on their platform. Especially the sussy games, games that most people aren't really going to play. It's just like a niche market, to be honest. Well, it's pretty simple. The reason is because this isn't something that happens normally. It's a rare occurrence, and it's only happened a couple of times before where a game has been so egregious that the Steam had to ban it. There was one I remember recently that it's kind of like a great simulator, which personally I did not enjoy at all. Like being in the market, of course. Like I think that was a bit overboard. I know there's going to be a lot of people defending that game, like, oh, it's just a game, like, yeah, but like I it's just weird, But I don't think it should have been banned. I just don't think it should have been shown like in the front page of Steam, because Steam would pop that thing in your face. And there's a not safe for work filter, but like sometimes that filter doesn't actually work. So that's beyond the point. Like I personally think it should have just been more restricted. Like it should have been hidden more to the general audience. And it should have been in its own little section, right? But the real problem right now is the whole Visa Mastercard situation with the payment processors banning a bunch of the games on the Steam market. That's not a good thing. Like, sure, you don't like those games. I don't like those games. Like I don't play those games, right? I play stuff like CS:GO. I play stuff like gotcha games, and I don't play those type of games to begin with. Like they're not my niche. I've tried them before, and I'm like, this is just watching JPEGs, right? Like it doesn't matter. It's like custom scenes that you can see. Like there's better options online to know jork it. But the thing is that this is being the reason this is a big problem with Steam and itch.io. It's because it's being done by a radicalized Australian group that's entire goal is to basically deplatform these type of games, right? Make it impossible for you to get it. It's their entire shtick. The thing is that these games aren't illegal. They're not contraband. And if you start labeling them as contraband, then where's it going to stop? That's the thing. When does it stop? Because the thing is that now that this Australia group has succeeded in actually pushing these payment processing companies to stop the purchases and the selling of these games, it just leads to more possibilities of them doing it for other things. Like, what happens if they start pressuring in a different country and saying like, oh, this game is bad? Like, because we already see that there's a lot of games that are banned in some Middle Eastern countries. Some Asian countries have certain games banned, of course. Like a whole thing with like CS:GO's like gambling, right? Well, CS:GO hobbyism, you open crates, it's considered gambling. It's illegal in a lot of places. Like even in some countries, you're not able to use like Twitch chat to like gamble on polls. Like you're not able to use the points. Like sure, like I can see why that's a bad thing. Like of course, if you want to limit that to some people, sure. I don't think it should be limited to everyone. Like I feel like if you're a grown as adult, you should be allowed to do that. That's why a lot of the quorum sub websites have been using like ID registrations, which like I said, it's not a horrible thing. It is horrible if your country has like full access of what you're searching up though, like and has an ID and picture attached to it. You don't know what would happen if it leaks. Like, oh, I'm gonna be honest. Would you watch? Would you be okay with it leaking? Like what you watch? No, it's like a personal matter, right? That's the only issue I have with that. The government being able to access whatever you've seen, and that possibly leaking, because the government leaks have happened before with like minor stuff like this, right? I mean, they probably don't even keep it in house. They probably like outsource that type of information system. And the thing with that information system is like look at something like in the United States, right? T-Mobile got hacked like how many times a year? Like every carrier gets hacked multiple times a year. It just happens. It's a thing that is always gonna happen, right? But that's beyond the point. The problem with the payment processors banning this game is that they have no actual limit. People can now weaponize this type of format to try to get the payment processor companies to like be like, hey, this type of game, like let's give a general game. Let's say The Witcher 3, right? The Witcher 3 had a couple of scenes that were considered explicit, right? They have some romance. Let me double check this before I start talking out of my ass, okay? All right. So yeah, I went to go verify it because it's been a while since I've played Witcher 3. But yeah, there's a lot of scenes there that are considered explicit. Like you see stuff that you normally won't be able to see like in movies, because you gotta remember, specifically here in the states, it's more taboo to actually see something like titties than to see like actual gore. So if a game comes out like The Witcher, right, and they decide like, hey, I'm gonna have this type of game and I'm gonna add like a romance option or something like that, right? Um, then what's there to stop another like lobbyist group to be like, hey, I don't like this type of content, I hate it. You Why are you promoting this type of content? Like a kid could buy this, right? It's online for anyone. It's just gonna start like it's just gonna be weaponized. It's just gonna be used to stop other things that you might not think is explicit. Like, sure, if you decide that those type of games are shouldn't be seen by younger people, like, for sure, I'm not gonna argue that. No, for sure, for sure, there should be at least a little small vetting system to be like honest. But why does that have to limit someone who's older than freaking 18? Like in Europe, they have different standards like as well. They're okay a bit more with like nudity in the movies compared to like lore, right? The states completely different, and it varies by country. While it is extremely difficult for like something like Steam to continuously do something like this, like vet every single game, the problem is that they themselves can't go through every single game, because you got to understand that there's like a huge amount of games being uploaded to Steam every single day, and a lot of them are like they have to like prioritize games like a full on scam, or games that are just purely like malware, because there's been a couple of times where games have gone into Steam where if you download it, they just harvest your like login information. That's something that they have to look into. I think that's a higher priority, because at that point they're stealing your information, they're stealing your account. A lot of people on Steam have like massive accounts that have like a bunch of items that have like actually worth money. So I think their priorities are kind of like twisted a bit. I don't think that Steam and HIO should have been forced to like broadly ban everything. I think they should have like been given some time, because you got to remember HIO had a statement where basically everything was done straight off the bat. Like they didn't have any time to even warn the creators, nothing at all. And because of that, a lot of creators are probably out of like income. Like imagine putting in your work trying to make a game, and then all of a sudden boom, it's gone the very next day, no notice, nothing like that. What's them to say that, oh, this game is too gory? Like look at something like Doom and Doom Eternal, right? And Doom the Dark Ages, of course. They have an insane amount of like gory situations, right? There's a lot of guts and there's a lot of dead bodies. What's there to stop a company saying like, hey, this is inappropriate for kids, like no one should be able to buy this, there's too much gore, there's too much violence, like why are you allowing this to happen? Like, are you promoting this theme? Are you promoting this HIO? You want this type of content? That's the thing where it starts being like, it's not a horrible thing though. Like, the game isn't the problem. Like, if you think that a game is gonna cause the person to like commit crimes, or you think that the game is gonna make the person do things that they shouldn't do, then we're just regressing back to like the freaking I think it was like the early 2000s and stuff like that, because this is the type of thing that they do. I don't know. I used to see a lot of videos related to the Satanic Panic. I don't recall the era that it happened, but I've been seeing videos like that where basically the media would like portray like some like, satanic rituals happening like constantly, when it wasn't really happening at all. Like it was something that could have happened, but like it was such a like minor group that was doing it, that got overblown to a national thing over here in the States, right? That's not a it doesn't mean that you should automatically ban people from going to the park, right? They wouldn't do that. Well, they tried. I know some groups did try to like ban like certain type of activities, and like try to put curfews and stuff like that. But that's the thing I don't get. Like, you can't allow these payment processing companies to dictate what is good and what is bad on the internet. Like, objectively, there are some bad things. There are some bad things. The whole thing with Pornhub being sued because of content that is purely illegal, because of things that happened there. I made a video about it describing a bit more if you guys want to check it out. Um, that video, it goes into more depth, but basically, I'm just going to give you a little spark notes. So basically, um, Pornhub was accused of having explicit content that involved minors, right? Which is, of course, a huge no. Absolutely not. I honestly believe that the payment processing companies had an actual like leg to stand there, where they were like, hey, we can't support this because this is basically illegal. But then you also had another situation where the payment processing companies were telling OnlyFans like, hey, I don't like what you're doing here, it's explicit content. But that's the thing. OnlyFans is well known for that. Like, that's their shtick, that's their thing. Like they actually vetted their people though. That's the, like, I understand if they had content where it was like the Pornhub where it wasn't vetted, but they vet. Unfortunately, there are times where things go under the radar, and there have been cases where Some people have actually gotten fake IDs and stuff like that, where it does tend to happen. But like, you can't automatically say, okay, this situation happened once, so therefore everything gets banned right away. Because if you keep doing that, there's no limit on what you can censor online. That's the problem with this. Like, like I said, there are some things that should be halted, like illegal stuff that should be halted. But none of the things that have been going on with the payment processing companies have been legal. Steam and HIO have done nothing relatively illegal to my knowledge. To my knowledge, if I'm wrong, I go ahead and comment right below, because I when it comes to stuff like this, things always come up, so things could change. We could get a statement from Visa giving us like the rundown, like a whole Excel spreadsheet of like every single thing that Steam did like illegally and stuff like that. But I highly doubt it, because this Steam and HIO have been able to continue their business for like decades at this point, right? Like they have no problems. It's just that recently more people have been trying to find something to lash on. Like I said, the Australian group basically started attacking Steam and HIO, because their goal was to actively sabotage that business, because they don't like it. I don't know if you guys heard what they said, but like that those group of people that got it banned literally said that literally called anyone who buys those type of games porn, sick, brain rotten gamers, fetishes, which is like kind of insane. Because most of the games weren't anything related to like you know, lowly stuff. Most of them were like grown as adults, because I like, if you ever get recommended this type of nice for content in your homepage, all you see is like the same generic models. It's always the same generic models. I honestly think it's like the same company doing it, or is it they only have like 5 rigged models. It's always the same model. That's why I don't see that much appeal for it, right? Thing. Next, you're gonna be talking about YouTube. So I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube has had a couple of illegal stuff happening in their comment section, right? But no one's attacking. Like no major company or Visa, or no payment processor company in general is like saying, "Hey, YouTube, what the heck are you doing? We're going to stop all purchases in your company if you don't do this." Right? That's the thing. Yeah, they're just picking certain things that they dislike and being pressured by outside forces. I don't see why someone playing those type of games would be mine or your problem. Like, I don't play them. I don't care for them, but I don't want them to go after a game like let's say they go after right now South Korea has like a bunch of sussy gotcha games, right? I play gotcha games. Like, let's say I play a gotcha game and they update the game where they add something that's sussy and people don't like it. What's them to say like they want to ban it? FGO has a lot of extremely like borderline weird costumes, right? And I like playing FGO. It's a fun game. I've been playing for a while. I don't want them to be banned in the States just because a couple of people said like, hey, this game is bad. I don't like it. It has skins that don't go appropriate to my own like need. I'm like, it just doesn't really, it just doesn't work, you know? It doesn't work. There has to be a better system for it. I do wish that Visa and Mastercard actually had like an actual road plan, like talk to these game companies to actually set up a plan instead of just outright banning everything. I could be wrong, and this is like one of the steps that they're doing. That they could be like, hey, take it all down, and we'll start vetting it afterwards. Which I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's something that they do. Like they actually like, hey, take it everything all down for now. Go full nuclear, and we'll start working on it slowly. But I kind of doubt it, because I feel like it's cheaper for them to just say get rid of it, and then people move on, which happens pretty often. Honestly, people are just gonna move on, or the payment processing companies might forget, and C might just like start allowing it again. Like, it depends. Like OnlyFans had this issue where they basically had the payment processing company saying like, hey, we're not going to support you guys because you guys are doing all this content, and OnlyFans basically said, all right, fine, we'll remove it. There was a huge backlash from the curators and the community, and then boom, it got reinstated. And the payment processing companies didn't do anything after that. They're like, oh, okay. They just gave up, because it was easier to give up at that point. They're like, oh, so we tried our best. Yeah. Tell me what you guys think below. I know I've just been yapping the entire time, but if you guys have your own opinions or your own comments on this, I go ahead and leave it down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm dumb. Tell me if I'm missing something specifically, because if I'm missing something, I'll try to correct it next time. It should, yeah. If you guys like the video, go ahead and leave a like as well. And if you guys want more content like this, I would say subscribe and also comment up that below. I like yapping, so I'm all in for this if you guys enjoy it. All right. So you guys have a great day.